What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the latest episode of Unplanned and Unashamed with Ray Money and Isaiah Pinnell. And we're back. It's a brand new episode of Unplanned and Unashamed.
Hey,
How
hey.
you doing?
Yeah. Man, I'm sleepy, man.
You sleepy? Do you want me to sing you a lullaby story? Go to
Man, I'm going to go down on you.
Go to sleep.
Let me tell you something. This is we got to move this podcast to 10 p.m. recording. You make it better. I probably would be the better move because these morning podcasts, I don't be fully awake on all of them.
How many hours of sleep did you get?
I think I'm 3.5
Golly.
hours of sleep. That's about good. We came back from Alabama yesterday, so last night. So it's about 4 o'clock. Then back up like 7:30 or something like this. So
Did you bring back some sweet tea with you?
No, I forgot.
You forgot your mama's tea.
Man, if it was, I wouldn't tell y'all I drink it. Nah, just playing. I mean, I probably would have in the past, but I ain't been drinking sweet tea like that. Not like I used to.
Gotcha.
Man, that stuff will kill you, man. Let me tell you something. 19 pounds of sugar in a gallon.
Oh, I've gotten sick off of tea before at like church functions because I can drink.
You got sick off tea?
Yeah, because I can drink tea like somebody drinks water. Like that's how much I love it. Like I can take I can drink 3 glasses just like back to back.
You got a problem.
I do have a problem. It's just something about the taste, the flavor, the sugar, and as soon as it hits my lips, it's just gulp, gulp, gulp.
Do you drink water like that?
I do drink water, but I don't be like chugging it like I do tea.
Of course, it's sweet. You like sweets, don't you? You like cake?
Oh, I love sweets.
Oh yeah,
I got a big sweet tooth. You don't get as big as I do if you don't have a sweet tooth. Like Thursday, I'll probably make some candy bar fudge. You
make candy bar fudge?
Well, I saw a recipe in a cookbook, and I think I'm going to try it. It's chocolate fudge with marshmallow cream in it, and you take candy bars and chop them up, and you put it on top of the fudge, and then you layer it.
Yeah, that's some fast shit, man. I'll be honest with you. I would say I ain't gonna sugarcoat it for you, but you would like sugarcoat it.
I would like sugarcoat it.
You could have candy bars over the top of a brownie and baked it.
That's delicious.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
That does sound delicious.
It sounds like...
Who did that? When can I get some?
I mean, I'm fat too, but I just don't be eating sweets.
See, I love all kinds of sweets, ice cream, cookies, cakes, pies.
Yeah, I eat biscuits.
See, that's my problem is I like the savory as much as I do the sweet. So I'll be eating a big plate of, chicken fried steak, gravy smothered over it.
Chicken fried steak with gravy smothered over it, and then you have
a piece of pie, and a big piece of pie, not like a little diabetic
half a pie.
Yeah, half a pie.
And he said, "I'm gonna eat a whole crescent.
I'm gonna eat a whole section of the pie."
You know how the moon be it'd be sideways, a crescent, where it's side, where that's how much pie you eat out of the pie, and you leave one little circle missing.
That's exactly my go-to move. I just leave one little circle.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I ain't gonna lie now. Sometimes I do get to a sweet when I get in the sweet fix. I'll be alright. It don't happen all the time. When it does happen, but that's what I could say that because breakfast biscuits and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm starting to on a side note. I think I'm starting a comedy workshop, man. So we're gonna see if I don't teach very often, so thinking about doing some teaching, some business curriculum and something like that. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
I think it's a good idea. I think you'd have a lot of people, sign up that are interested in comedy. They just don't really know like how it all works or how to piece it all together.
Yeah, I think that's and I don't know. That's maybe the thing. I be doing too many different things, and I need time management. So I can't even say that. I'm pretty decent with time, I guess. But making sure I get everything fulfilled in one day. But creating a workshop to help other comics. We get comments that ask questions all the time, and they'll message me and stuff. So, but it's just having the time to respond to them. So I think it'd be better if I just, all right, I'm gonna set aside a dedicated time to talk to, and then of course for a fee. That way I ain't just sitting here wasting my time. So, and I can answer everybody's questions and help them with their own career building.
Gotcha. So you would just be like teaching other comics how it all works and stuff.
Yeah, sense. I mean, it's just starting everybody out. Like when I started, there wasn't like you just pop in the open mic and you kind of figure everything out yourself. You just kind of figure out, I need to make a set. You listen to everybody else and you just kind of gathering information piece by piece of what you need. I think that's what takes comics a lot longer time to get to a working status because most of them don't know the business. Even some of the more senior seasoned comedians don't have all of their business, and most of them don't have their LLC set up or anything else set up for as their. I mean, it doesn't. Maybe that's not for everyone, but getting bookings and building your fan base or attempting to build your fan base. So that's and then just the writing process. Like, there's different styles of comedy. And I see a lot of comics, especially in the, and I can't say this all over. I ain't gonna say a specific area, but all over. So comics, they're generally hating on each other. Like some of them are like, oh, I'm funnier than him. Why is he doing this? Or because they perceive themselves to be, better in a sense in whatever area. But I don't look at comedy like that. I look at comedy like music, just like you would play a hip hop song and a country song. Both of those songs would be for the people they're for. Would be more biased based on what they like. So if you like country music better, you're gonna like the country song better. If you like hip hop, rap, or whatever, you're gonna like that type of music better. Same thing with comedy. So it's all relative. So, but getting the understanding of to the comics that's what that is because we've all generally in the genre they always put us together on competitions and stuff. So. Right. Which is, I'm like, it's.
Yeah, I don't like the competition comedy things and stuff.
I used to do them like all the time, starting out. So we'd have like what they call the fight night. One of the producers, Debbie Millwater, she used to produce a fight night competition where you would come in, you do 3 minutes and against 10 other comedians, and then they, do a judge's choice and. Crowd audience applause, and but it built just in that. Not just her; she doesn't do just that, but there's people that do it all around the country where they're doing a comedy competition, And I think for me, that's where I like doing it, but then I lost my taste. I mean, I won the competition. I mean, I won every category at one point when I did win. I won all Georgia's audience, but even in winning, it was like, yeah, it wasn't the. It was great to win, but it didn't feel like a win because it was like, all right, I mean, especially after doing so long, because I know there's like more senior comedians. Like if some of the older guys would have been in it, they would have been probably better because they've been doing it more longer. And the people that are doing it more longer and more consistent, they're just stronger because they're doing it more frequently. So I don't know. It's changed the identity of comedy for me because I look at that music now. Once you do something big or you're doing a special and you got to recreate a whole new set, it's like, all right, you realize it's never ending. You're gonna always have to be creating. And you may be the funniest today, but what's your next album? What's your next joke gonna look like? So,
right. It's like any art form. You always have to be constantly creating your next, piece of art.
Yeah. So if I'm competing with you, and I get it, people say iron sharpens iron, but I don't necessarily think that it's people don't always come just for the funny to the comedy shows. So they don't always just come to laugh. People come for wisdom. They come for of course the laughs, of course. Connection. They come from an emotional pool. Because most people are dead inside. That's what it is.
Most people are dead inside. That's why they go to a comedy show.
Nah, but no, that's it though. If you think about it, like there's a million funny people. How do you differentiate yourself if everybody's funny?
Right. And it's also hard to figure out what makes you funny and then how can I take it and put it on the stage.
Mm-hmm. I hear comments all the time, man. It's so negative when he comes to each other. They're like, oh my God, he's terrible. And I'd be like, I mean, he's just not for you. I don't like everybody. You don't like all of my jokes, so
it's
like
subjective.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's an art form, and in any other art form, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Like I might watch a film and think that it's one of the best films ever, and then you might watch it and be like, "Oh, this sucks." It's all subjective.
But then you can say the level of sharpness though. You can tell when someone's on stage and they just rambling and they just coming for it versus someone that is polished to set out and know that these jokes will work because they've worked them and they put the work in. That's different. So we're like, all right, yeah, he sucked because he ain't actually trying, or he hasn't actually put anything, or she hasn't put anything together to but that's the thing. It's the best way to put it. I mean, there's different levels. Like if I do a workshop, I'd probably start with beginners, like people that that's relatively easy. Because I know some of the things that they would need to know just by starting out, or give them what I would give them would be, a lead on probably more than what they would normally get just by searching for it and trying to figure it out on their own. Because that's what most companies, they hit the open mic and then it's like, all right, now what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
Giving some direction.
Right. It's like, where do I go from there?
Yeah, you're giving some direction. Most comics want to be working comics, but if you ain't actively pursuing that because you just don't know what to pursue and how to pursue it and how to prep for it, then that's where a lot of you miss a lot of comics that look good comics just because they don't know. They stop doing it because they don't know what to do.
Right.
They go back to what they call civilian life.
They go back to the 9 to 5
Yeah, I mean, you never really leave.
civilian life.
If you tried it before, you always find yourself coming back in some capacity, where you're an audience member, or you may be on the production side, or if you're not on the as an artist and actually doing it. Because I'll hear comments like some of the larger comics like Dave or Kevin or Chris Rock. They're like, yeah, I played this venue, which is a different terminology in the way they talk, because they're doing versus someone on a different level when they say, I don't know, like on my level, yeah, I just did a show at XYZ club, or I was at this club. But they say, yeah, I played the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. And it was interesting how they would talk. You'll see the subtle, I'm like, oh, you played why did you say you played that venue? But it's I don't know exactly what that specific mean when they say they played. I just seen the terminology usage change. Some of how they actually use it, which I mean, it makes you look further into it. Why are you saying that? Because you didn't always say, yeah, you played this venue.
All right.
You say you performed at XYZ. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, I have noticed that, like, Dave Chappelle and, other, like, Chris Rock and other comedians like that, they'll say, well, I played at the so-and-so theater in San Francisco, versus, like, other comics, they'll be like, well, I performed at the so-and-so club. So, yeah, that is interesting. Like, why they changed the lingo.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm presuming I'll find out once you get to that level. You gotta right now you just performing, you ain't playing nothing.
Yeah, once you get to that level, I guess that's when we'll find out.
Yeah.
Once we get to that level where we can say we played at the Ryman Auditorium, or something.
Like if you're a new comic, and let's just say new comic, and then we'll say 1 to 3 years, anywhere from 0 to 3 years, say new comic. What information, like what would you say right now your comfort level of direction as a comedian? Where would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, when I say comfort level of meaning knowing what to do in your first years of comedy stand-up.
I'd say about 5 or 6. So like average.
About average. And when you say 5 or 6 or average, what do you think you should be doing in those years?
Building up my fan base as much as possible, and learning how to craft jokes better, and really work on the stage and the performance aspect of it. So those two, I think, are the important things to learn, is how to work on the performance side and the jokes, and then how to build the audience.
No, you need to be learning if you actually want to stay in this business or not.
Right.
Because you got to eat shit. That's what you got to do. You got.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of that, like learning. Well, that joke's nobody laughed at that one.
Because not even just that, just because in years 0 through I say 3, it's gonna test you whether you actually really want to do this or not. Because you got to take long drives and not get paid multiple times, night after night, to see if you actually love it or not. So you gotta get heckled. You gotta take your beating to see, because this thing, if you build a fan base and then to watch you stand up, I guess you still have your fan base to utilize in other places if someone enjoys you that much. But probably in year 1 through 3, 0 through 3, no one's following you that much other than your family.
Right. Yeah, that's about right. Other than my mama and my stepdad and stuff.
Because ultimately, also you haven't built any jokes for other people. Most likely, you haven't built any jokes strong enough for anyone want to follow you because they're like, oh yeah, what you doing?
Right.
But I mean, there's anomalies that happen where people blow up, or they just naturally have the gift to craft a story. But
well, yeah, and that is another thing is figuring out, do I really want to do this? Like, do I really want to eat shit and learn to like the taste of it from year 0 to 3?
You got to burn your car up. Now you got a show, and you need to get there. You need to be able to figure out, all right, you taking the bus. When they say, I know a lot of the scene comes like, yo, you didn't, like you got to take your, go through the struggle of a comedian. If you got a job, then, a regular job, you still doing it, but you ain't fully in it. It's different when you jump full in, and this is the only thing you have to survive on.
Right.
It's very different because now your jokes, they matter much more to you. They're playful now.
Right. But when you don't have anything else, then they really matter.
If they don't work and this is how you're going to eat, this is how you're going to, yeah. But years 1 through 3, 0 through 3, gonna make you determine if you still want to do this, because you're gonna do it without getting paid and take all the stress with it. Yeah, but I don't know. Like if I was doing the comedy workshop, I would give comics, especially the newer ones. Like I think I've been to a few different workshops where I've seen like comics do stuff. But it hasn't been like what I would say. Like I do like heckler workshops. So you got, and this is a common thing within the comic community. You get hecklers at every show. It doesn't matter the show. They nice, they rude, they idiotic. Some of them they're evasive. They'll sit in the back and yell out shit, so you don't know who it is. It's learning to handle that stuff especially as a new comic, you're not used to it in most cases. Mm-hmm. Learning how to handle that type of stuff where you're just throwing it at them and making them work out with all of them, man. From the lights going out to the mic not working to what you're gonna do, because it's ultimately your show. So or at least during your set time, this is what you match. But most comics aren't, especially as year 0 through 3, you're not as prepared for as much heckling as you're going to get. And if you're not intentionally seeking it out to actually work on it, when it happens, it's going to destroy you.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hard.
If you're not quick with it, so
right. I mean, I've been heckled a couple times.
What's one of your heckle stories?
Oh, let's see. I was in Withful, Virginia, and which is not too far from my hometown. So I figured there might be some like older people in the crowd that might have worked a coal mine. Mm. And I was wanting to like do something for them, right? And maybe like if there was any in the crowd, have them stand up while the crowd, applauded them and stuff. Do something nice. Well, I asked the question, and this guy hollers, "This ain't West Virginia, buddy." And I said, "Well, I'm from Virginia, just right up the road, and there's plenty of coal mines over through there." Mm. And I just went right along with the rest of it. But yeah, he hollered out, "This ain't West Virginia."
See, and that's what for me, when it's somebody yelling, I'm like, you sound like it.
See, I was trying to be respectful.
No, man, but that's the thing. That's what you're learning when you do. The lower you go, you're learning to gauge when to be delicate with them and then when to be harsh. Because I've made people cry. I've made people I mean, people leave. I mean, not necessarily putting them out, but you know, when I say leave, I made them. You know, just depending on if the crowd's going. I've made people, just they stop, they'll laugh, and it just depends. You're determining on what type of heckler this person is, and either I can't remember. Where you like either you're going with the flow with them, and you're trying to, or you're ignoring them. You know, you learning when to do which one because you're still trying to stay within your material, unless you're just all right. Because sometimes you just go on a tangent. Okay, now it's me and you. If that's you ain't gonna let me do the material. Now it's me and you. Now that it's me and you really have a if it's just one-on-one, because it could be a group. It could be one person sitting in a group of people, and they could be the spokesperson. Because I've had to shut the whole group of people down. So it's learning to deal in those situations in generally 0 through 3. Because if you can get through those, now you can manage delivering your material to those people because you're learning crowd management in 0 to 1, 3. If you do a lot of bars, because once you've got the crowd and you can manage the crowd, you can say anything to them. It's but learning that is the thing where you got to manage this audience of people, whether it's 2 or 2,000, how to actually manage them. But that just generally it would come with time just by doing a bunch of mic. But that's where I would say like the workshop or something of this nature where I'm looking to put. I haven't nailed down exactly how I'd want to put it together yet for as the full curriculum. But there's pieces that I've been developing for a while that I'm just now coming to the point where I want to. All right, I guess I'll put it together, all fully together. Right. So hopefully in the next week or two here, I have rolled out with everything. So, but we'll see. We'll see who signs up, and I'm going to put them. Whatever newcomer got there, I'm going to put you through hell.
if you're a new comic, just know welcome to hell. You need to have a big sign up behind you that says welcome to hell, and you need to go full on drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. That would be hilarious.
Not like that. I mean, just call it like the subtle nuances of this within some of the shows, like you just getting there at the exact moment you supposed to go on stage. Come on up. You ain't got time to pee. You ain't got nothing. I need you to come on stage right now. Your time is up. But if you ain't prepared, you ain't had to do that, or sometimes I try to be there early, an hour early, 30 minutes early. But if you're not, and traffic accident, they waiting on you. You come in, you gotta be prepared to go straight up. Ain't no warm up. So it's like you building all these different things, problems that the comics can deal with early on, where they're not just running. So when they do run into them, it's like, like cake, what you say. But
yeah,
have you ever thought about doing a workshop?
No, I've never thought about doing a workshop.
Or
I mean,
like
maybe
not teaching one, but I mean, taking one.
I've thought about it, and like, because I know Don Garrett, I think he does one.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about taking, his workshop.
He asked me to come to talk to someone at one point. I never got a chance to go to one of them. I've seen he's doing, but I wonder how I ready to stop into one of his to see how he does what he does to y'all training. I don't know. Ideas I have is probably more different than and maybe less conventional than some of the other workshops that I've gone to. I've gone to like one I've gone to. It wasn't even a workshop. It was like a writing session, basically. Mark Gregory, Dick Gregory's nephew. He toured with him for a long time, and I think he tours with Damon Wayans now. But some of these guys have been doing it a long time. I jump in to see how it's what they what information they can offer. Some of it's, information that you can utilize, and some of it's stuff you already know. And but you always get something out of it, at least.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's taking a workshop. Neb, do you think you would be further along in your career if you took a workshop or no?
Probably. Yeah, I think I'd be further along if I took some kind of workshop and, learned a little bit more about it and stuff.
What, I guess my question to you, I know you said Don's, what would entice you to do an actual workshop? Don's a great comic too, so.
Well, and I've, done a show with Don before, so I think that would, just knowing that he's a good comic and knowing that, he has some advice that he could pass along to me. I think that would be what would entice me to sign up for a class, is just, knowing that I'm learning from a funny, person that has a lot of good advice.
Okay. Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Heck, I might take your class and we can talk about it on the podcast.
Come on, man. Come on.
You can be like, this is the type of student Isaiah is.
Nah. So I think that's going to be the difference for me. I don't believe that I don't know. I'm probably a good teacher. I just never really tried to teach that form. I mean, I can't say that. People ask and I teach stuff all the time, but I don't consider myself a teacher in that sense. So I still feel like I'm a comic first, and then, that just has information. So may have some other, I think we're going to do a workshop, bring in some other senior comics. Guys have been doing it 30 years, 20 years, 10 to teach also. So that would be a good thing too, because everybody has their own different methods and styles. So I think, being able to learn from different people is a good thing too. Yeah.
So you can kind of like pick of like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's take some of this, take some of that,
Yeah. I couldn't, let's see. I don't know. I guess you don't really know what everyone's into first. So to make the determination what to pick. Like, do you know a lot of history about comedy?
I know quite a bit, but I'm not like
you know the origins.
I know it started in, I think, the late 1800s. I think you can trace comedy and like the stand-up form way back to like the 1800s. I think somebody has a book about it that lives, I think, in like Charlotte or somewhere in South Carolina, just right over the border. What's his name? And he has like a bunch, and he wanted to turn it into a movie, like the history of stand-up comedy. I forgot the guy's name though. It's Rich something.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's the thing. Most comics, they just doing it. They don't know the history behind it. But do you really need to? Yeah, kind of.
I think it's important to learn about the people that came before you and what they had to go through and stuff, like learning about Lenny Bruce and how he got put in prison for telling certain jokes. And then, later on you had Carlin and Pryor and, all these other comics. And then, even more recent, you got comics, getting tackled on stage. And then 30 years from now, that'll probably be part of history.
Yeah, so now that's a part of the training. When you're on stage, when they do this course, for you to be telling the joke, and they're gonna send two people on stage after you.
You got to learn the karate moves.
What?
You got to learn how to use some like karate moves in case somebody comes at you.
That's gonna be part of the heckler training. Remove the mic, put the stool in front of you, And then because depending on how many people are trying to attack you at once, this is training they don't teach in every comedy class. Protecting yourself from the slap.
Right. That's what you need to teach. You need to teach a little bit of like, how to protect yourself in case you get Chris rocked.
What? There was a dude in Columbia, South Carolina. He has what's the man's name? Dang, I forgot his name. But he was working at the Comedy House, and somebody snapped and they started swinging the mic stand. They grabbed the mic stand, was swinging the mic stand at him. He was trying to hurt him bad, but he wasn't prepared for that.
Right.
His
brain just went into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm fight."
Yeah, like what's the dude that rushed Dave on stage? They stomped him out, and then they went back to the show. Like, how do you regain the show after you had to slap somebody in the mouth?
Right.
But
and I think,
or a drink thrown on you, or any of that stuff where you're doing recovery, but because you're still trying to maintain the show. That's some wild stuff to have to go through.
Right. And I mean, like, years from now, that'll be part of like the history of comedy when, people are getting into the business and wanting to learn and stuff.
Yeah. So, well, I guess this has been another episode of Unshamed and Unplanned and Unashamed.
I was waiting on to jump in there and be like, it's unplanned and unashamed, right?
Man, look, I'm sleepy.
And you got a little tongue tied. You was like, unplanned shame. That's what you was like tongue tied.
Look, y'all know what y'all clicked on. Look,
y'all know that you clicked on the Unplanned and Unashamed podcast, and this has been another episode of the podcast.
That's right. We gonna keep it 100 here. You know what you clicked on. You seen our little face or whatever it is.
You seen our face.
You done heard the voice all this time. You know who you was listening to.
You knew you was listening to Ray Money and Isaiah Pennell.
Maybe. I guess you did. Or you like at the end of it, who is it talking? But now you know. All right? Relax. We're going to hear your next episode. We're going to see you. Well, you're not going to see us, but you're going to hear us next episode. And we'll be back.
All righty. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Unplanned and Unashamed podcast. If you like what you've heard, make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and follow. And we'll see you on the next episode.